Hey everybody, I just got back from the dentist, and when I was there I met a really lovely lady, and she had a lot of hair concerns. So she asked me if I had any tips and advice. I told her I do upload when I can on social, specifically YouTube. So when I was walking home, I thought to myself, she had specific concerns, but why don't I do a general 7-day reset for beginners that will give you real results? So that's what you're going to see in this video. So the first thing I would do for a gentle reset is grab yourself a sulfate-free clarifying shampoo. Now there are, of course, tons of clarifying shampoos on the market, but I think that if you have a lot of hair concerns, you want to be as gentle as possible. And the only clarifying shampoo that I have ever used, actually there's two, and they are only used on me when I'm at the salon. My stylist uses them for a reset after I do my root touch-up. So let's say every 6 to 8 weeks, the first thing he will do, just to make sure that my scalp is beautifully cleansed after touching up my roots, is he'll use a sulfate-free clarifying shampoo. And the two that I have used that I can say are gentle and safe and have worked well on me are the number 4 and the Australia 11. Now I do have an affiliation with number 4, and you can get those products with my discount code below. I believe it's like a 20% off, or you can try any very gentle clarifying shampoo. And let's just get ourselves a very balanced and cleansed scalp. Number 2 for our simple 7-day reset would be take a look at the products you have, and we want to eliminate any harsh ingredients because we really want to understand why our hair isn't happy. If you're watching this video, you want to increase the health of your hair, right? So take a look. What I would do is, if I want a gentle reset, I would get rid of any products or not use any products for now that have any harsh sulfates. Coming from somebody that has a sensitive scalp, I can't use sulfates at all, and I have a video explaining all about the different kinds of cleansing agents that are, say, healthier or more gentle for your hair. So I'll link that one below as well. But generally, I would just stay away from just harsh ingredients right now. Number 3 for our 7-day simple reset is hydrate your hair. We're not talking about dripping your hair in a ton of oil or doing crazy kinds of experiments or protein overload, because if you've seen here online, everybody, I've seen several people on YouTube do protein experiments with rice water and leave it in, and then slowly what they're starting to see is their hair actually gets brittle and breaks. That's a protein overload. I'm not an expert in any rice ingredient experiment, so I'm not going to talk about that, but generally I wouldn't leave anything in my hair. And from the experiments that I saw, the people that were having those really bad results is because they were leaving those products in the hair. We want to focus on good ingredients that are hydrating our hair, moisturizing our hair, but that are not giving our hair an overload of protein. I think too much of anything is just like not a good thing. So we want to make sure that our hair is balanced at this point. So we've got our clean scalp, hydrated hair, and now our hair is getting balanced. Number 4, and I always talk about this, you guys might know that I host a travel and culinary series between Canada and Greece, and I'm very big on nutrition. I'm also CanFit Pro certified, and in that certification, when I was teaching fitness, of course you take a nutritional course as well. Balance is everything, but you definitely want to ensure that you are taking care of what you're putting in your body. You're having enough fats, enough proteins, and staying away from DHT. In fact, you want to consume DHT blockers. Let's get into a little bit of this. Now, again, of course, consult with your physician. I'm just giving you information from my personal education, knowledge, and interviews, so on and so forth. So DHT, I'm going to put the full name here, is a hormone that actually can shrink your hair follicles, and this leads to thinning over time, especially around the hairline or crown. So foods that can actually block DHT are pumpkin seeds, which are amazing and one of my favorites. And whenever I do baking for Star Foodies, I try to throw pumpkin seeds in there because it doesn't throw off the flavor. It gives you some crunch and texture, and they are natural DHT blockers. Flax seeds are incredible, and if you're a baker like me, you can throw them in a lot of different recipes. Again, will not throw off the taste, adds some texture, and they're DHT blockers. Green tea is also a DHT blocker, so is spinach and kale. So whenever you can get those into your nutritional regimen, I would highly recommend them. Now, as far as taking vitamins and minerals, when I was going through TE, my doctor told me not to take anything except for vitamin D. Again, this is not advice, this is just my own experience and opinion, but I would recommend, if you live in a place where you're not getting a lot of sunshine or you can't be outdoors, for me, what has always helped me is taking vitamin D supplements. Everything else I try to consume from food. And as far as what not to take, the one thing that I always remember my doctor told me is not to consume raw egg whites. I mean, I don't know why you would want to consume a raw egg white. Like, egg whites are fantastic, but just cook them before you eat them. I eat them all the time. And he also told me that the best way, and Dr. Berg talks about this too on his channel, the best way to eat eggs is to make sure that the whites are cooked well and that the yolk is runny, so you make sure you get all your nutritional benefits from the egg itself. That is, of course, if you eat eggs. And Dr. Berg, like I mentioned, talks a lot about that, so you might want to watch some of his videos on that. Number 5, keeping it simple, but we're resetting our hair. Try this, okay? So we're trying all of these things in this week. Try not doing like tight ponytails, those hairstyles that actually hurt. I remember when I was younger, like, it would actually be painful to my scalp. Like today, from my morning after my workout, of course my hair is up, but from the time I went to the dentist till now, I've had my hair down and my head said thank you. Like, literally, I had no pain here from the weight of my hair keeping it up. So give your head a break. Be really gentle with it for this week. Let's see at the end of the week if you're going to see a difference. I mean, I talk about this all the time, guys. Like, my claw clips, I don't go anywhere without these. So I work out with these. Like, for example, today I was at the dentist's office getting my teeth cleaned. I'll use this to put it up, and then I'll take them down right away, because I thought, you know what, I wanted to give my hair a break today. I'm always out walking now that it's beautiful weather here. So when I'm out, I don't like to keep my hair down too much because it can get tangled. So when you can, if you can keep it down in like safer environments, controlled environments, I would keep it down. I would also do very safe hairstyles, like my favorite, which is my braid. That is my absolute go-to. So last night I slept in 2 braids, but typically, like, during the day, I'll keep my hair in 1 braid. If you are super talented and you can give yourself like the double Dutch braids or a French braid, that's super safe as well. And then for nighttime, again, for this reset, get yourself a satin pillowcase, and they are quite economical. I've seen them all over online. I even saw them at the dollar store, Dollar Tree, a while back, like I mentioned here. So, you know, you don't have to get a mulberry silk. Everybody's on a different budget. I also like to use the toko or the tubi, and then also my satin cap. So I had both on last night. So evening hair care, that's what we're adding to our simple reset here. Okay, number 6, we are almost there. I love this one. And this past week, I actually did an increase on this, and I felt a difference. Scalp massaging. So I typically like to massage my scalp like every night, but I started doing it 3 times a day, and I took my timer on my phone and I put it for about 2.5 to 3 minutes, depending on what I had going on. And I have to tell you guys what a difference. First of all, it's extremely relaxing. My hair density here actually felt great when I was doing that. I just loved giving myself scalp massages. I find like it really helps calm me down if I'm feeling stressed or anxious. And of course, you're stimulating blood circulation, and we want to ultimately stimulate our beautiful follicles to produce beautiful, fresh, new hair. So I love stimulating my scalp every night and just getting that blood flow going. But like I mentioned, I started doing it 3 times a day, and it may seem excessive, but you know what? If you're at home working or wherever you are during the day, take down your hair, give yourself a gentle massage, and it's actually very relaxing. So now I actually, like, I'm anticipating those moments. As far as putting anything on my scalp, this is what I was telling the woman today as well. I personally don't believe in putting oils on my scalp. That's just from my personal preference and beliefs. The only two things I've ever put on my scalp, not four, two, are number one, rosemary tonic that I bought from Apivita. That's 99% natural. So again, water-based, it's plant and water. And then stinging nettle, which I actually didn't know the English term till a couple of years ago because I grew up with my mom having it in the garden, and we just always called it tsikunida because that is the Greek word for it. And the ancient herb expert, incredible gentleman I interviewed last summer on Crete Island, he brought up stinging nettle to me too. He studies herbs that are incredible for our health, and not only the herbs that grow in Greece on Crete Island, but in his list of most incredible herbs was stinging nettle, and he was telling me that they actually sell shampoo in Crete with stinging nettle in it. So he told me that it is proven, this is according to the expert, it is proven to really help with your scalp and hair growth. But again, you want to do your own research and do what works for you. But I prefer to stay away from oils on my scalp. Oils are incredible, everybody, but they're for your ends, in my personal opinion, mids to ends. I like oiling my ends every day. So for our reset, try oiling your ends with a very light oil every, say, morning or evening. We want to keep them moist. Why? Because you may see your hair grow from the roots, like your scalp, but then it only grow to a certain length. That's because it's breaking off because your ends are so old, number one. And number two, they have the holes in the bottom, okay? Because this is not connected to anything else. So they do tend to get really dry. So what I do is after the shower, when I have my heat protector on, I do my leave-in conditioner, then my heat protector. When I start to do my blast blow dry, I then add in a little oil on the ends and continue the blast blow dry. So we are now on to day 7 for our 7-day reset, and I will give you a bonus tip at the end of this. But for day 7, I'd say chill out, reflect on how the week has been going, and treat yourself to a dusting or a micro trim. Get rid of those dead ends. You will psychologically feel better because when you touch your hair, it will feel lush and much more thick on the bottom. Again, don't be afraid to get a trim. Just ask for a dusting and your hair will actually feel thicker. So this is where the psychology of it really comes into play. You want your hair to feel thicker, shinier, smoother. It's going to give you that motivation to continue. And I think that if you're doing all of these things, your hair will feel better at the end of the week, and it's just going to give you that confidence and motivation to keep going. Okay, I'm going to give you a few bonus quick tips here and stuff that I absolutely love to do. So I avoid hot showers. I do not take hot showers. At the very most, I take lukewarm showers. And the only reason I actually have a little bit of warmth at the beginning, like for my hair, is because I want to open up the cuticle to accept the product. And then at the end, I really have that nice cold shot that's going to close up the cuticle and seal in all that beautiful moisture. And our cuticle does not like hot water. So keep it lukewarm. We want to open up the cuticle, get in all that goodness, good products with good ingredients. Don't have to be expensive, but just good ingredients. And then we're going to seal it up with cool water. I like to take cold showers because it really helps me just feel fresh and nice. Helps with anxiety and stress. I just like the way it feels on my body personally. Now, you guys know I love my wide tooth comb. So while we're going through our 7-day reset and your hair is sopping wet, number one, grab yourself an inexpensive microfiber towel, or like me, all these drawers, I always tell you guys, they are filled with movie t-shirts. That's where I actually started my career at MGM United Artists movie studio, and the promotional items were always first t-shirts. So I have drawers and drawers and drawers of movie t-shirts. So any kind of cotton t-shirt. If you don't have a microfiber towel, you get out of the shower, use your cotton t-shirt, microfiber towel, and head right for that wide tooth comb. Just get something super gentle, like a wide tooth coconut infused comb. If you have any texture in your hair, any wave, anything like that. And then I would go in with my Tangle Teaser and wet brushes, but again, be very gentle when the hair is soaking wet. I don't use dry shampoo. The only thing I use is some Australia 11 texture spray once in a while. But for our reset, stay away from dry shampoo because we just want to keep our scalp fresh and we want to encourage and promote beautiful new hair growth. We just don't want to clog any pores right now, okay? So for our reset, stop the dry shampoo. And for one last bonus, the lady that I met today, she mentioned that her hair was super oily. And a hair care professional from Dubai. I've talked about him before on this channel. I'll put a little picture here so you can see his salon. He always talks about how oily scalps are connected to hair thinning. So of course, I would recommend you go see a doctor about that. But my rule of thumb is like whenever you have oil in your scalp, that's when you should be washing it. That's why I never tell people this is how many times you have to wash your hair. I always say this is what works for me. When I see oil in the scalp, what am I supposed to do with it? The oil in my scalp tells me that it's time to be washed and it's time to make sure that my scalp is cleansed, has proper products for my specific hair type in it, and it is time to grow luscious, beautiful, new hair. And I can tell you guys that I have tons of flyaways right now because it's super humid where I am, but a lot of new hairs. And everybody, I've been talking about this with a friend of mine. She says she has very high cortisol. Let's keep our stress levels low, keep our cortisol levels at bay because that does affect your hair cycle. And just to mention the TE that I talked about earlier, it's not a direct reflection of a certain event or a certain illness. It's the stress on your body. It's the high cortisol. And as my doctor told me, I saw several doctors and derms after that virus, but your hair is really sensitive. So we need to treat it with a lot of TLC. And there you go, everybody. I think that wraps up our 7-day simple reset. So I think that making these small changes this week should make a great difference, and I'd love to hear feedback from you all if it does. I know that making small changes in my routine has really helped. Products do matter, everybody. I'm not talking about marketing. I'm not talking about expensive products. I'm talking about products with good ingredients. As always, comments and inquiries are welcome below. And if you have like specific tips and tricks that you would like to share just to reset the hair in a very simple routine, I'd love to hear them below or see them because you are probably going to help at least one person in this world that really needs a little bit of that motivation today. As always, be well, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.